Investigation into the mysterious series of arsons in the city of Queensboro has led to a climactic confrontation in the Halls of Light. The big bad of this series of events has been revealed to be Nicholas Webster, who appears to be some kind of fiendish related something, who has been acting as a moderate Solinist eminent. In the midst of a sort of well-publicized gathering of Solinist leaders, Nicholas seems to have sprung a trap, pulling the Hall of Light itself into a hellscape, separating it from the police barricades that were set up outside, and drawing you all and a handful of Solinist leaders along with it. You rescued Lieutenant Davis, who was making a valiant stand out in the entryway, and you have now progressed into the Central Hall of Light, a chamber that is filled with all of these beams of light coming down from different parts of the room, spraying the room with color, except now the color seems to have been tainted by infernal magic. Some kind of infernal ritual seems to be happening in the center of the room, and Nicholas himself seems to be attempting to attack Eminent Airtra Lux, the head of the Solinist Church in Queensboro, who seems to be nonchalantly sitting in a chair, seemingly unaffected by the things going on around him. One round of fierce combat has occurred, and we are back to the top of the initiative. So, up at the very top, Nicholas, who is still maintaining his concentration, trying to break through this column of light around Airtra, makes a sort of frustrated frown for a second, and then smirks and snaps his fingers. You see the quality of the light passing through all the windows changes. It had filled with this sort of noxious orange gas almost, that only seemed to be visible within the light. Now it's something entirely different. The gaseous nature seems to dissolve, but there are motes of purple-black energy just sort of flickering wherever the light falls. So that is layer action. Eminent Airtra Lux is still sitting in his chair, just kind of chilling, seeing what's going on. Beery is back, sort of. You're pretty far away. I don't know if anyone would know what Beery is feeling. But she seems to be assisting these other fiendish devotees in the ritual that they're performing around this massive central light in this space. And we get to our first PC. It is Oryx's turn.
All right. So first things first, I'm going to use my action to try and make an attack with the hand.
All right.
So that is where we go. Oh, that's not an attack. It is a strength save, 16.
Ooh. And this is against Nicholas.
Against Nicholas.
Right. Natural 1.
All right. He is restrained and he takes 9 damage.
Nice. All right. So your sort of draconic hand formed up out of the smooth stone across the bottom of this space, after an unsuccessful attempt, sort of rears back, and this time fully grabs onto Nicholas, taking a good chunk of him and crushing him a little bit. He lets out a frustrated, like...
And then, acting on a hunch, I reach into my inner pocket on my sweater vest because apparently my sweater vest has an inner pocket.
Utility sweater vest.
Yes. And I pull out the Tamaran holy symbol. And it sounds much better in Draconic, but I essentially say in Draconic, the power of Draconic Christ compels you.
So what is Auric hoping this is going to do?
No idea.
Are you proficient in religion?
Nope.
Then I'm going to give you two choices. There's a persuasive effect, or there's a divine effect that could happen. Which do you want to aim for?
I think I would like to aim for the persuasive effect.
All right, roll persuasion.
That one I am proficient with.
Remember, I think you can
Bardic
use...
Inspiration, because I got a 12. So the D8 on the Bardic Inspiration, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make that a 15.
All right.
And it rolls with advantage.
Yeah.
Yes,
You can roll the inspiration die with advantage.
Well, then let's see if I can do better than that 3. Okay, 16.
All right. So you sort of awkwardly fish in your vest, and you pull out this amulet of sort of braided and woven metals that is Beery's Tamaran holy symbol, and you hold it out, and she shouldn't even necessarily be able to hear you from across the room. Like, on some realistic level, it's a loud, active combat zone, but as you speak these sibilant tones of Draconic, Zyra's magic sort of pulses through you. And all of this sort of swirling together, your Draconic essence itself, these words, this power that Zyra has given you, and also this power in the amulet all kind of weave together. And you instantly see Beery's head snap around. Nothing immediately happens, but you can see that she's like visibly tracking the amulet with her eyes, even though she's a very long way away. I mean, there's actually like a wall of vines partially in between you, but you can see almost like she can feel where the amulet is. She is watching acutely. All right. What else would you like to do?
Let's see. I guess I probably don't need to get out of the cloud of poison because I made that save the first round.
I'll nudge you one up because I think he would have to resave. I thought that was the legendary action. It was actually a spell that he cast.
All right. Then yeah, nudge me out.
All right. It is Cyrus's turn then.
All right. And am I restrained? Am I remembering that?
Yes. Jabez Daniels, who seems to be some kind of like nature, some kind of fiendishly corrupted nature something, who is further back in the crowd, flung some kind of thorn whip and has entangled you. Tried to catch Lexi, but it looks like she broke out of it.
Okay. So, besides Nicholas, is anybody in my 80-foot range of my bow?
You have two different sort of henchman type people. You have Nicholas and you have Jabez himself.
All right. I think I'm just gonna stick with Nicholas since he's got my hex. So can I still use steady aim to cancel the disadvantage of being restrained?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I will steady aim to do that, and then since he's restrained, then I get advantage on the attack, right?
No. So it only cancels 1-to-1.
Right, but he's also so I'm restrained. I have disadvantage. I steady aim. I
Right.
get
It doesn't counteract. All you can do if you have
but he's also
disadvantage.
restrained. He's also restrained by Earthen Grasp.
Right, but no matter how many factors there are, all it can do is bring it back to 0.
Oh, okay. I don't guess I have to steady aim then. All right.
No, don't waste it.
I will roll an attack. This is a 16 to hit.
16. Let's take a look. 16 hits.
All right.
And we did determine you do get your sneak attack, so this is going to be a heck of a hit.
Oh. 6 plus 10, so 16 piercing. And where's and 4 necrotic for a total of 20.
Ooh. So you fire this arrow, and Nicholas his attention is sort of wavering back and forth, and you're focusing, and he's looking right at you, and then Airtra just kind of goes, and just for a second, Nicholas turns, and your arrow smashes into him, and there's this cacophonous explosion of feathers and sort of red-black Icarus blood, and you do see something strange. Not only does he sort of grasp at the wound, he doesn't bring his hand down that's focusing on Airtra, but you've seen there are these like fiery silhouettes that are sort of draped over all of these fiendish individuals, but Nicholas's is a little more like independent. The ones you saw out in the entryway were like physically moving along the humanoids they were inhabiting. His is almost more of a partner, and you see when the arrow hits him, a part of the fire of this creature that's like leaning over him like blackens, and you can see the same spot wound on the creature, and it goes and it throws a hand out, and you need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no, the rogue has to do a dex save.
13.
13 is not going to do it.
All right, I'm going to roll my inspiration.
All right.
Well, 14. But what do I get on the saving throw?
Oh, saving throws.
I think you get temp HP.
You gain the temporary hit points equal to the number. So you get an extra 1 hit point.
Plus 4?
Yeah. Plus 4. Yes. Sorry. Thank you for reading. It doesn't. The period is after there.
Yeah, it's awkwardly written.
It's awkwardly turned. Yes. Plus 5.
Plus
So
5.
benefit.
Ooh. You don't. Do you have evasion yet? Or is that later?
No, I have uncanny dodge. If this is an attack.
Okay. No, this is a saving throw, so that is not going to work. This fire that suddenly flares back at you is massive. This is like a human-sized pillar of fire that just erupts around you. It is 32 points of fire damage.
Well, I'm unconscious.
So much for those 5 points of stuff.
So much for those 5 temporary hit points.
So when you go down, you see, well, you don't see, everyone else sees Airtrolux respond for the first time, and as this pillar of fire hits, he just makes a small gesture and kind of points in your direction, and you all see it almost looks like Cyrus breaks apart into stained glass. And he is going to reappear outside of the entangle. And you now no longer entangled. And you have mirror image.
Wait, what?
You are now under the effect of the mirror image spell for a minute. So it's like the you see Cyrus get hit by this flame. Airtra responds, and sort of in the midst of this attack, you see Cyrus just seem to like fall apart into stained glass and then reappear somewhere else. But instead of just one of him, you actually see like 5 of him laying on the ground now.
Also unconscious?
Still unconscious.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. It is Nicholas's turn. Oh, he needs to roll Constitution check.
Well, that was because that was long from last time.
All right. Nicholas loses his concentration on Stinking Cloud.
Great. Time to make a scene. Oh, I can't remember. I'll have to bring it
So
together.
he's lost that. All right. So he just took a big hit. He just burned a big spell. He does not like how close Lexi is to him. So he flings a hand out, and 2 bolts of this sort of crackling orange fire burst out of his hands, and he's going to make 2 attack rolls at Lexi.
Okay.
Natural 1.
That does not hit.
15.
That is her AC.
That is my AC.
All right, so that will hit 10 points of force damage.
Which becomes 5.
Which becomes 5. Okay.
And he's sort of stuck there.
Yeah, he is.
Sweet.
Go smashy smashy.
Was gonna say, so I have not figured out where I am on this.
Do you see the green square?
Yes, that's me.
Yes.
Okay, and then he is
Up.
up from there.
That's not how it works. But...
He's there. Okay.
Which should be in your faster range now, I think.
I mean, I have 40.
Yeah.
I can walk 40, so I can literally walk right up to his face and punch him. Well, I'm not going to punch him. That's a waste of a turn. Going to whack him with my ancient brewer's mallet.
All right. You race up. Let's have some attack rolls.
Yep.
You can attack twice.
I can. Oh, that was close. 21.
That will hit.
And rolled the dice. 11 points of damage.
Whew.
That wasn't even a good roll.
I know, it wasn't even a good roll. I just have a +6 on hits with that. Excuse me. Okay, and I'm gonna whack him again. It's a nat 1, so that's 8.
Womp womp. So you get one really solid hit, and then even though he's keeping one arm up and sort of focusing on whatever's happening, he still manages to kind of jerk out of the way as the next attack comes at him. So that was your action. Anything on the bonus action?
Do I have a bonus action?
I don't think so.
I don't think I do. Let's see, bonus action's right there. No, rage is my only bonus action.
All right. In that case, it is Jabez's turn. He is no longer concentrating because there's no one left to entangle. So he is going to... he is going to drop Erupting Earth right under Lexi. So you need to make a dexterity saving throw.
That's you.
Dexterity saving throw. 13.
13 succeeds.
All right.
So you're going to take half damage. You're going to take half of half damage.
Okay.
So 8 damage halved by your resistance to 4.
So 2.
No,
4
that's
total.
already. It'll be 4 total.
Okay, 4 total.
4 was the first half.
4 was the first half. All right.
8 was the first.
8 was the first half. 4 is the final. Okay. Same page.
Oops, there we go. That is going to create some difficult terrain.
Okay.
It's a 20-foot radius. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4, 5, 6.
That's a big area.
Yeah, it's. I wish there was an easier way to do circular areas. Nope. One, two, three, four. That looks right-ish.
Ish. Really? More fireworks?
Seriously? Not even
Here
dark yet.
too. Here too. Also, our backyard neighbors are throwing gasoline on a fire.
Marka.
Yeah.
All right. Someone who is not visible does a thing.
Ominous.
You hear... Everybody make a perception check.
Oh, good. +0. 10.
16.
8.
Zyra, you hear sounds of commotion coming from what looks like through a door on the other side of this hall, like back past where this ritual's happening, and it sounds vaguely familiar.
That means nothing. I heard lots of sounds. You want to give me any narrow? Like,
Um,
Familiar, familiar muffled, familiar restrained, familiar.
you hear the sounds of people yelling in alarm, and you hear like muffled slams, like something small but strong is like smashing into things, and you hear like muffled explosions.
Fine.
Casual reminder that last time we played, we learned that the 9-year-old dragon boy was kidnapped.
Uh,
All right.
Sure.
We're going to make some religion checks on the back row. Not great. You see the tieflings gathered around that giant ritual happening on the sphere of light. And even at this distance, you can tell, like, they're trying to do something. They're maybe not the best. Like, this feels like the B team. Like, the heavy hitters are doing something else, and these guys are trying to do something very out of their depths. So that brings us to Zyra.
Minions.
how many are around the ritual?
There are 3 around the ritual, and plus Beery.
So 4.
Yeah.
Okay. How many people are within a 40-foot cube? If I can also catch the ritual.
You say 40-foot cube. Is that the full dimensions? That's the diameter? Diameter?
40-foot cube.
Doo-doo-doo.
That means it's 40 feet on one side.
Okay.
I think that hits almost every enemy.
Yeah, that's going to hit pretty much everything.
Is it gonna hit us too?
No.
Okay.
So Zara's going to. I don't think Zara needs to move at all. And cast slow on 6 creatures that she can see. So I'm not clear on who I can see. So not Beery. Oh yeah, just gonna pull it up. So I can see that.
So 60 feet, and you don't want to catch Beery?
40 feet. I don't.
Or sorry, 40 feet, yeah.
40 feet. It is choice. I don't. I can. So Beery can be in the box and not be affected.
So you can easily catch the 3 peons doing the ritual and Jabez. Then you sort of have to choose. You could get Beery and another person, or you could get Nicholas.
What are the 2 boxes here underneath the cypress head?
Underneath the what?
The Greek god Medusa head.
Wait, which one?
Okay, so who's the flame phoenix thing and the thing next to it? No.
Okay. The fiery thing, that is Cyrus's, or sorry, that is Oryx's Earthen Grasp. Next to him is Nicholas. Above that is Eritrea. This is Jabez, the one who's been using the nature spells.
Okay.
This is a flunky. These are flunkies.
Great.
And this
Hold
is
on.
Beery.
When you point, you're delayed. I can't.
Ah.
Don't point and say. Actually, use word. Can you back up, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to zoom out and do it one by one. Okay. Topmost figure by the red circle. That's Beery.
Yeah.
And there's 3 flunkies.
Yes.
There is 1 flunky to the left, just under the initiative list.
Yes.
Sort of towards the center in the green. That's Jabez.
Okay.
Just to the southeast of him is Airtra. Below him is the Earthen Grasp. And next to the Earthen Grasp is Nicholas.
Okay. I want to get Nicholas, the green flunky, the 3 peons.
Cool. All right, that's what we're set for.
And I'm not going to choose to influence Etra.
So that is a DC 16 Wisdom.
Hold on. Yeah. Wisdom, yes. A wisdom DC. Yeah.
All right.
A wisdom saving throw.
Nicholas does not like that result, so he is going to burn a legendary resistance. So he saves, but doesn't have that anymore. Jabez rolls a 2.
Nope.
He gets a snail symbol.
Actually, I'm gonna. Who's underneath the earthen grass? Who's
that's
underneath
Lexi.
Nicholas? Is that Lexi?
Because
Yeah.
Lexi went up there.
That's me.
Never mind. Cool.
Yeah, I think that picture is actually like a casual fan art of an Overwatch character. All right, now the 3 peons. Fail. Fail.
Do you need any of the information from this spell?
Not yet. Because it's 1 action or bonus action per turn, half movement.
It is -2 penalty to AC and Dex saves. No reactions. It can either use an action or a bonus action, and if it's trying to cast a spell, you roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, it takes effect the next turn, and if it rolls a 10 or lower, the spell is wasted.
Okay, there it is. I was like, I couldn't find the target speed is halved language, and I was like, surely slow slows. Like, if it doesn't, I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
Yes, and target speed is halved.
Okay.
It's-
Yes. So you caught everyone except Nicholas, who was already restrained by the Earthen Grasp.
Yeah.
And he had to burn a legendary resistance to do it.
Awesome.
All right. Anything else?
No, I just really wish I had a cantrip that was healing. But there's a reason those don't exist. I'm gonna give Auric another bardic inspiration.
All right.
That's the end of my turn. And I'm gonna stay where I am. I may move to the wall or something.
All right. So like back towards the way you came in?
No, not towards the door, towards the wall, to the left.
Oh, all right. Get you a little further out there.
Mm-hmm.
The other flunky in the back. Oh, yeah, this is going to be brutal. you see Nicholas. He's still concentrating on Airtra, and he holds a hand out, and you see this sort of like spindly, long-limbed fire creature with horns that's sort of draped over him. Sort of makes a contemplative face, and then it points at the flunky off to the side that the slow spell didn't hit. And the flunky starts walking towards Nicholas. Very, very slowly. And you can see it's very clear in this moment that there are two different entities working in the same space. Because what is moving is this sort of silhouette of fire sort of marionetting the body forward. And you can actually see this quasi-tiefling, like, it doesn't seem like they can speak, but their eyes are huge, and their head is, like, shaking back and forth. And the spirit on top of Nicholas keeps crooking his finger, and that fiery spirit walks it forward. And the spirit that's like draped over Nicholas, it's like the hand gets bigger, the arm gets larger, and it reaches down, grabs the flame, and rips it off of that other figure, and just starts. And you see the fire around Nicholas grows larger, and disturbingly, biological reality suddenly reasserts itself around this person. And human beings are not meant to have horns starting to grow out of their bodies. And suddenly you see this person just collapse. And there's blood like streaming where the skin has torn. And there's now like jagged shards of horn. And their eyes have just rolled up. It's hard to tell if they are dead, dying, or what. And Nicholas gonna heal for 9. All right. That was the very bottom of the order. At the top, the screaming and explosions become much louder as that door opens up behind the ritual, and you hear it sort of drawing closer. Let go. And you see a tall woman who, at first, you would think that she's walking forward on very tall heels. And you realize that her feet are actually ending in, like, cloven hooves. Giving her, like, an extra, like, 5 inches of height. She has these... they specifically look like white, feathery wings that have been blackened. And there's, like, feathers falling off of them as she walks, and they're sort of draped around her shoulders like a cloak. And she's walking forward, and behind her, you see another man who seems to have like a shimmering curtain of befouled water around them. They have sort of black tinged silver scales all over their body, and like wispy tendrils coming from the side of their mouth. And that figure is like, keeps like pulling its hand back, because with one hand he's holding the back of Torin Carolon's collar and dragging him into the room. But Torin is not coming peacefully. He is still like like pepper breathing little balls of fire and screaming and punching as they drag him into the room. All right. We will go ahead and do our lair effect. So once again, right after this happens, the quality of the light in the room changes. Those purple-black sort of spots in the light fade away, and instead there's sort of an orange glow, almost like there's a concentrated wafting of fire through those spaces. And it is Airtra's turn. This is the first time you've seen Airtra really react to something. You saw him distract Nicholas. You all saw him do something to try and help Cyrus. But for the most part, he has been almost remarkably serene through this. He turns when he hears the door open, and he turns to Nicholas with a shocked expression, and he says, "You wouldn't." And Nicholas just... And at that, Airtra is going to try and get out of here. You see Airtra finally stands up, and this sort of multicolored prismatic light gathers around his hands, and he starts pushing out against this cylinder. And you can see now that there is this sort of almost invisible heat wave around the cylinder that Nicholas seems to be holding in place. And Airtra starts trying to push it outward, and you can see it flexing under his hand. That is his turn. On Beery's turn,
He did create the cylinder.
Nice.
Beery is visibly confused.
She
The
doing
power of Dragon Crest compels you.
Beery looks at Nicholas and says, "Nick, what is my brother doing here?" And Nicholas just smiles. "A little bit of insurance." And he gestures. "Salem." And Auric, go ahead and make another persuasion check with advantage.
With advantage, all right. That's good, because the first one was a 12, and the second one was a 9.
That's a cocked die.
you have a Bardic Inspiration.
I have the Bardic Inspiration.
So what'd you have? You had the first one was a
The
12.
first one was a 12.
Yeah.
So it becomes a 17.
And that rolls with
You-
advantage.
it-
I also rolls with advantage.
I rolls with an advantage.
It becomes a 17.
All right. So, this woman that you now know is called Salem walks over to the ritual space, and this watery figure is dragging Torin, literally kicking and screaming. And Torin sees Beery, and he seems... You can watch this sort of cascade of hope and confusion and then brokenheartedness flash across this little kid's face. And Beery actually takes a step back from the ritual. and we'll come back to her. It is Oryx's turn.
Okay. So the guy holding Torin is visibly trying to avoid being burned, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Second question, you said that Beery is now looking more like a red dragon?
I'll let all of you make a religion check. And we'll say that Cyrus's unconscious mind is also working this out. Everybody make a religion check.
16.
Ah,
3. But whatever. 12.
All right.
okay, good. Sire.
The unconscious Cyrus, your brain just suddenly like figures it out all at once. And Auric, you're a moment slower, but you get there at about the same time. The most powerful figures you're seeing in this room, other than Nicholas, none of them look only fiendish. Nicholas looks distinctly like there's more devilish quality to him than the others. Specifically, the other 4 that you can see, they all look like something else that has been twisted. So...
Wait, who are the other 4?
Who are you even talking about?
Okay, there's Earth Magic guy here, Jabez, who casts the Entangle.
Yeah.
Who has like thorned vines growing in and out of his body and horns of like twining vines. There is Beery, who looks like...
okay, she's counted.
Okay.
Yeah. Who looks like some kind of dragon.
Fire thing on top of her?
What?
Does she have a fire thing on top of her? A fire marionette?
So the marionette has only been visible on these sort of lackeys floating around.
Okay.
The insight that you two both gather in this moment, and it connects some dots with other things that have been happening. It seems like these more powerful fiendish vessels here are all corrupted versions of something else. And Cyrus, you would recognize Jabez's power has a distinctly spiritualist look to it. Beery's magic seems to be an inverse of the sort of Tamaran draconic magic. Salem seems to have something of Solinist magic, but again, this sort of shadowy reflection of it. The one whose name you have not gotten in the back looks like maybe some sort of water-based spiritualist figure. But in each case, it looks like a divine vessel that has been corrupted somehow.
So they're all like the upside down versions of themselves? Or they're the upside down version of... Okay, well, yeah.
Well, and I think Zyra would be putting this together. You saw that scale, that metallic scale on Torin and Nala.
Yeah.
You kind of have a guess what this is supposed to look like on Beery. And so the fact that it's manifesting in this distinctly chromatic way does kind of look like the polar opposite of what it should be.
This is chromatic the balance.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the other name?
And all of that was to answer Oryx's question of, yes, there's sort of a reddish black dragon vibe coming off of Beery.
Okay.
She's a bad friend.
Well, the first and most obvious thing is the hand is going to continue crushing Nicholas, so that's another strength save.
All right. He gets a stinking 6.
Then that's how much damage he takes.
Oh, sorry, I was seeing your roll. He got an 8, but yes, he super fails.
And now I got to decide if this guy holding Torin, if I think he's another victim, and I should focus fire on Nicholas.
If it helps, make an insight check. I guess we'll see if it helps. Make an insight check.
Well, it's an 11.
Just because you've made some other checks in this neighborhood and you know more of the story, Beery seems to be responding different than any of the others.
Okay.
You don't know much about this guy other than that he seems to have just kidnapped a child.
Fair enough. Well, in that case, in Draconic, I shout out, Beery, I hope this doesn't hurt much. And then I quicken cast at the doorway so it only hits Beery and this guy holding Torin. Fireball.
All right. What's the dexterity save?
16.
Whoa.
Hurt much.
He just... Nothing.
She might have resistance.
So he goes from like full health doing fine to like instantly scorched. A lot of this water burns away. You smell burnt fish.
Lovely.
Something different happens with Beery. So you're casting this spell, and you've been holding this Tamaran holy symbol. And the holy symbol starts shaking in your hand again. And about the same time as you throw this fireball, the holy symbol follows the path of the flame. And by the time it hits and the fireball explodes, the symbol has caught up and seems to be at the center of the fireball.
The symbol follows the fireball?
Beery doesn't even budge. Like you're watching this fireball come at her, and she seems to be having some kind of break happening. And I think, Auric, because you were the last one holding this, your vision swims for a second. And you're standing in... It's not the dark place that you've been going to so much recently. Instead, it looks... it actually looks an awful lot like Beery's empty apartment. Except it's not empty. Beery is sitting at that small table that you saw through the window. And across a table from her is something that looks very much like that fiery shape that's draped over Nicholas. But in this case, the silhouette is hers. It matches her. And she's got her hands laid sort of flat across the table. And this creature has its arms laid out over top of hers. Almost like a relaxed predator handshake. And you find yourself a strange spectator in this moment. Beery's eyes look sort of less vacant and more like she's focusing on something a very long way away. She looks like herself. The gold and silver hair, no scales, no claws. And she's hardly moving. She barely even seems to be breathing. And you start to hear muffled yelling. It's the sound of Torin being pulled into the room. And you watch as Beery's hands, and she lets go of this creature. But the creature is not letting go of her. And you see like tears start streaming down her face. And she starts trying to pull away harder. And it seems like this thing is just not going to budge. And then the room starts to light up with this soft gold light. And it's the same one that you saw earlier when that voice spoke to you. And you see a woman who actually looks a lot like a Caroline. You've met 3 of them now. She looks similar, but there's a strange serenity to her. And the golden light actually seems to be coming off of her. And you see her lean down, and she starts whispering something you can't hear into Beery's ear. You do recognize that it is in Draconic. And she whispers for a second, and Beery sort of blinks and seems to focus for the first time. And she looks around her, and she still can't get her hands away from this creature. And this woman steps to the side, puts a hand on Beery's shoulder, and Beery takes a deep breath and breathes this massive cloud of platinum and gold fire. And it just washes over this other being, and she's left sitting alone at this table. You see her stand up, and she turns and looks at you and kind of like nods. And then she walks out the door. So when this fireball clears...
Okay.
Oh, where did I put her?
Oh, there's an unfinished beer.
Oh no! Beery had a special token, and I lost it.
Oh, no.
While Colby is looking, I know he saw the damage, but for the sake of the recording, 27 on the fireball.
I saw that. I
8d6 ain't no joke.
No, 8d6 is their manager.
Well. Alright, Corrupted Beery we will keep.
cool.
Oh, this one works. I had a really cool Draconic looking one, but we'll use that instead. So this fireball washes through this space, and this fishy figure is badly scorched. And Beery just stands there for a second. And so while Auric is seeing this, the rest of you, there's just like a weird pause in the room. You can feel something. You don't really have a good word for it. It's not a sound. It's not a vibration. But there's a moment of sort of bated breath. And this fire of this fireball that had hit Beery sort of drapes over her for a second. And this orange fire of Auric's spell sort of peels away and falls into platinum gold sparks. And you see Beery. She's now clutching this Tamaran holy symbol, and now her scales are, they match. They're platinum with streaks of gold and silver and bronze and copper, and she is visibly glowing. And the first thing she's going to do Beery suddenly flaps massive wings. And a giant golden claw seems to form out of the air and just smash this fishy guy up against the wall, freeing Torin. And that's going to be her turn. Auric, is there anything else you want to do?
Well, let's see. That was my bonus action. My action was squeezing Nicholas. Nah, I'm good.
All right. Cyrus, we're going to need a death saving throw.
Yep.
Man.
Can I roll that on Deed?
You should be able to.
Yeah, if you drop your health down to 0, it'll pop up the death saving throw.
Yeah, it's got the grid, but he doesn't.
I thought I could roll it on D&D Beyond, but there's not.
I added that.
You can just roll a d20.
Yeah.
Oh.
Huh.
Cool. Not one.
Oh.
Well. I don't know what I'm planning on doing.
All right. At the end of Cyrus's turn, Nicholas is going to use a legendary action. And he makes a face of frustration, and he sees Airtra starting to get up, and he sees Lexi bearing down on him. And the creature lurking over him sort of cascades over him in a curtain of fire, and he and reappears over by the woman called Salem. And Airtra and Lexi take 2 points of fire damage. So 1 point of fire damage.
Yeah.
I had a hand there, so he couldn't do that.
He used a legendary.
Friggin' legends.
Fiery teleport.
So how many feet away is he now?
He is 30 feet away.
Good. You didn't move far enough.
I might have moved him. Yeah, sorry, he should be
One, it's automatic.
other side. All right. Well, he's a warlock, so he's going to cast Eldritch Blast.
Great.
Show me that spell modifier. There we go. 12. 18. So he fires off 2 bolts towards Lexi. The first one goes wide. This second bolt of sort of sickening flame is going to hit. It's going to deal 9 points of force damage.
Okay, is that half?
That's before half.
Okay, so do I take 4 or 5?
4.
Okay.
And it is your turn.
Yep. So I see myself. Where did he move to?
He is now over by the ritual with the peons.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna follow him and beat the snaz out of him because that's what Lexi does.
Oh, I need to look at something on his sheet. All right.
23.
23 will hit.
And 16 points of damage.
Jeez. All right.
And I'm gonna whack him again. 21.
Yep.
And 17 points of damage.
What? Jeez.
Did I kill him?
Please.
Not yet, but he is not looking great.
Yeah.
Make a quick perception check.
Uh, 16.
You do notice, you're watching as he sort of teleports into this this area of light. While he's standing in this light with this flickering orange fire, it does seem to close a bit of his wounds. Not a ton, but a bit.
Okay.
All right. That is your turn.
Yep.
It is Jabez's turn. Man, he is having a bad day.
Joe, do you really like being a cat daddy?
Oh my gosh. He's such a cat dad.
Such
I thought.
Polo.
Facebook account has quickly become a cat account.
Yeah.
All right. So you run past and you smash into Nicholas with your hammer. Jabez, he's pierced with thorns. These thorns are dripping this green-black poison. These gnarled branch-like horns coming from his forehead. As you run past, he whips out his arm, and some of the tendrils rip free, and this thorned vine wraps around you, and he's going to try and pull you backwards. So he does hit with an 18. He's going to deal 2 points of damage, but he's going to pull you 10 feet towards him.
Okay.
You're going to need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
9.
You are poisoned.
Okay. So how much damage have I taken then?
You took 2 points of damage, but
Okay,
you have
that's
the
what I
poison condition.
Okay.
He likely just gave his life.
Distinct possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jabez just got smashed against the wall, so No, it's telekinesis, so it doesn't have a token. So he is alarmed by what seems to have happened with Beery, and so he is going to.
Brave Sir Robin ran away.
No, I didn't.
Oh no. So he is going to he has a long watery what looks like a cutlass or saber in one hand, and with the other hand he like sprays a cascade of water across the air, and it flies out towards Beery. And she saves. This water tries to sort of encircle her head, and it just like sizzles and burns off. All of these minions are going to try and make religion checks with disadvantage because they are slowed. Their chanting has gotten very slow. Two fails. Three fails. That's a nat 1. We are down to Zyra's turn.
Lovely. Zyra's going to cast Healing Word at the 2nd level on Cyrus.
All right.
Making sure she's within 60 feet of her.
Yeah, no problem.
That's going to be +8. So he is now up. I do not know how that relates to
The multiples?
yeah. But
all 5 Cyruses look a little bit healthier.
lovely. And with my action, I'm going to cast Vicious Mockery on. I can't remember. There's too much stuff going on. Are both Nicholas and Jabez up? Are they the ones who are actively attacking people?
Yes, they are up. Yes, they are attacking. You're 105 feet from Nicholas now that he's teleported. You're 90 feet from Jabez, but you also haven't moved yet.
Okay, so I'm going to move 30 feet up and attack Jabez with Vicious Mockery.
All right. Is that a wisdom saving throw?
It's a wisdom save. Your
All right.
mother is a fiend, and your father is a seal.
He got a nat 1.
That's 6 damage. Psychic.
All right.
I gave you 8 hit points.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So your words of mockery, there's a tangible force as they hit him, and you actually see like the tip of one of his gnarled, thorned branch horns like and fall off from the force of your words. All right. Oh, nope, that'd be 6 damage, not 67 damage.
Yeah.
That'd be impressive.
I think it's just
That wouldn't be Vicious Mockery. That'd be like a Skyrim, like, you know, Dovahkiin shout, like. All right. So that puts us at the top of the initiative. Salem is going to act for the first time. She turns and looks at this fishy figure with disdain, and says, "Simon, you've never done anything right a day in your life." And she's going to try and she's going to make an opposed athletics check with a child. she is probably going to fail an opposed athletics check with a child. No, actually, she manages. It's messy. Like, Torin is kicking and flailing and spitting fire, but she manages to, like, grab a hold of him, and she is dragging him towards this ritual space. On initiative 20, somebody roll a pure luck check, 1d20.
I got it. 6.
All right. You see Imminent Lux, seeing Torin get dragged, has sort of lost his calm demeanor and is like punching against this this encirclement of fiendish magic around him, and without Nicholas like actively concentrating on it, he's like smashing through it, but he does not fully break through this turn. On initiative count 20, the light changes again in the room, and it takes on that sort of sickly, smoking quality again. And it is Beery's turn.
Eat your food. Eat your food. Nope.
Oh, I knew I was on the wrong person because Beery no longer had telekinesis. Beery is going to try and repeat her trick against Salem. So Salem is going to make another strength check, which is not her strong suit. Once again, this golden claw moves at Beery's direction, and Salem is smacked against the wall. That is her action. She doesn't really have any cool bonus actions, so she is done. Alright, it is Oryx's turn.
All right. Well, I dropped concentration on the hand because Nicholas just teleported out of it. How far away is Nicholas now?
Nicholas is 100 feet from you.
Oh, perfect. I am going to upcast to the maximum capacity magic missile.
Oh, goodness. All right.
5 magic missiles, and unless he dies early, all of them are going at him. First one does 5 damage. 4 damage.
All right.
Second one does 4 damage.
All right.
Third one does 2 damage. Fourth one will do 5 damage. Final one does 4 damage.
He is not dead, but he is very hurt.
Good.
Good.
Anything else?
I will move as much closer as I can.
All right.
I don't think I have any bonus actions. Oh, why the hell not? No, I'm not gonna. I could have flame bladed, but that wouldn't be. That would have no point.
So Nicholas teleported right after Lexi's last turn, or right before Lexi. It was last round though. So
Yeah.
He has got his full slate of legendary actions back up. He is.
Colby, don't I go first?
He's using a legendary action.
Oh, okay.
I'm wanting to get it in because I figure you're going to do something awful to him. So, what is he going to do?
Hi, baby.
Yeah, Nicholas is a fiend and a jerk, and he has 120 feet of range on Eldritch Blast.
God damn. Oh, rough.
So he's going to fire those at Cyrus. Cyrus, what is your AC?
17.
First one misses. Ooh, second one misses. All right, you're up.
All right, so where did I get teleported to?
You are on sort of the left side of the room. Sort of the fray has moved out pretty far away from you. You are now... You're about 80 feet from the ritual. And you are 75 feet from Nicholas.
Does it look like the ritual is progressing?
Zyra dropped a slow on them, and they are not doing very well.
Okay.
And they were already the B team.
Yeah, just on like a reasonable level of metagaming, they've been rolling religion checks every round and not doing very well.
Okay. But does he still have that fire thing up?
Which fire thing? There's been a lot of fire.
The thing that killed me.
Oh, just to sort of peek behind the curtain, he hellish rebuked you.
Okay.
And he just rolled really well.
Gotcha. All right. Hang on. Here. Okay. You said I'm within 75 feet of Nicholas?
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess I will just steady aim for advantage.
All right.
And shoot him. Nat 20.
Nice.
How do you want to do this?
So I want to sight down my bow and just. He is always grinning. I want to shoot him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yes. Wipe the grin off his face.
All right. So you sort of pull yourself to your feet. All of these fractal reflections of you moving as well. Pull an arrow. And you catch him. He's berating these underlings, trying to help them finish this ritual, and there's a as the arrow flies through the air, and you see for just a minute that silhouette over him is like tapping him on the shoulder and trying to like turn him around, and he turns just in time. The arrow hits him in the face and just bursts into this black cloud, and you see him. The body of Nicholas Webster falls and crashes to the ground, and as it does, that orange silhouette peels off, and it turns towards you, and you can almost swear you see it like.
I just give it the finger.
It looks down at the body, and it looks at you, and it looks at the warlocks trying to complete this ritual, and you actually see it like stomp up and down in frustration. Like it's full, like both feet off the ground, stomping over and over. And on like the second or third stomp, you're feeling the stomp like run through the floor underneath you. It looks at you again. It looks at Lux, and it looks up at the ritual, and it just starts like grabbing chunks of light off of this sphere, and just seems to be consuming them. And it starts swelling up bigger and bigger. And now in this massive cathedral space, this thing swells up until it's about 20 feet high. It's looming over, and you see Airtralux finally. He taps this spell around him, and it shatters, and he just walks out and says, "No, I think that's enough of that." And there is a blinding burst of light from this sphere. All of that orange is burned away, and it's just this white incandescence. And right before you completely sort of lose sight of what's happening, you see Irtra. It's almost the opposite of a shadow. Something looms out and behind him, sort of an effect of this light. But whatever is looming out behind him isn't darkness. It's more light. It's a massive silhouette of glimmering white light with 6 wings. And then whole room goes dark.
And with 2 it covered its face, and with 2 it covered its face.
Do it flew.
And it's only for about a second. It's just long enough that like all of you are sort of awkwardly hearing yourselves breathe in the darkness. And then normal evening sunset light coming in. It's actually very beautiful. You're seeing the room without the orange cast for the first time. And there's all these beautiful purple and green and gold patches of red and blue and every imaginable color sort of cascading over this space. All of the orange is gone. It happens so quick that you can watch all of the remaining sort of quasi-tieflings just fold. They fall like puppets whose strings have been cut. You see Jabez and Salem and Simon all fall to their knees, no longer having this sort of distorted, monstrous appearance. They do still seem to have like visible wounds. Jabez especially has two like patches on his forehead that are still sort of weeping this green black liquid. But all of them seem to be fully human again. Beery doesn't fall. The draconic elements seem to be gone for the moment. And Ertralux is now standing behind the comatose body of Nicholas Webster. What do you all want to do?
How many pairs of handcuffs do you have, Cyrus?
We'll just say appropriately as you say that, you hear all of a sudden like there's almost like a pop, like the air pressure has just equalized, and suddenly you can hear sirens, like a ton of sirens and yelling, and it sounds like it's a couple 100 feet away across the grass. You imagine you're going to have all the handcuffs you could ever need in about 2 minutes.
Zip ties also work in a pinch.
Zip ties also work in a pinch.
Check on how's Torin?
Yeah.
Torin is visibly okay, because when Simon fell, Torin immediately proceeded to start putting the boot in and paying back his rough treatment. And you can see now Simon, without his sort of Piscine elements, just seems to be like a somewhat portly man in his like probably late 40s, early 50s, but with like very white receding hair. And he's just like, oh no, and Torin is just like almost yelling gibberish. He has so much adrenaline right now that his 7-year-old brain is like just fireworks.
Torin, I think we won. Stop kicking him so we can put him in handcuffs.
He's like, oh, can I put him in the handcuffs? Where are the handcuffs? Give me the handcuffs.
I must have left them in my other pants.
Oh.
Maybe somebody else will bring some.
Why don't you go make sure your sister's okay?
As you say that, Beery just like does like a scooping tackle hug and has lifted Torin up. And the rest of you just kind of hear this like sibilant foreign language. Auric, you hear, you're catching in this sort of bastardized Draconic. She's basically just saying like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, over and over, mixed in with like, are you okay? Did they hurt you? Without putting him down, you see her turn around and kick Simon.
All right. Well, I'm gonna walk. Cyrus is gonna walk over next to Ertralux and look down at Webster and ask, "Was he ever a human?"
He was. Airtra looks profoundly sad. Nicholas was a great eminent. I knew him a long time ago, but he was a great eminent before eminence had any power. We used to do this for what the light offered for our bodies, for our souls, for our minds, for the people around us. And Nicholas was great at it. But I lost track of Jack, that thing. And it was right around the same time I lost track of Nicholas, and I should have put that together before now.
What Jack thing?
That was the name you've heard a couple of times in relation to that fiery...
No. Zyra is asking what Jack thing.
Oh, that thing that was guiding Nicholas down this path. You saw it, right?
We saw fire marionettes.
A long time ago, this world was full of everything. Fairies, dragons, and he turns and he looks at Auric and Beery and Torin. And gods and angels and demons. And one day that stopped. All of the planes receded. Everything was separated. All of the celestial beings returned to all of their myriad heavens and celestial planes. All of the fiends and demons and devils dragged back to the abyss. Except for one. I don't know what its name actually is. But it's been haunting this world for a long time. And it gave up most of its power to be here, but it was a devil amongst mortals. No more clerics, no more paladins or monks or druids, no more beings of power to keep it in check. And so, as all of the Celestials were leaving this place as well, the creature that would eventually be known as Jack made itself known. And one servant of the Celestial volunteered to stay. And just like this Jack, it gave up the majority of its power so that it could stay behind. One devil and one angel and all of humanity for a very, very long time.
What was the angel named Jane?
When Airtra chuckles just then, you almost catch a glimpse of that silhouette again. And he says, no, it didn't have a name that most things could pronounce, but it was of a class of angel called Solars. They were the highest order, angels of absolute goodness and light, and they were called Solars because they were said to reside in the hearts of suns. And so, over time, it made itself known to some of the mortals who were left, some of those that enlisted to keep Jack at bay, and they started to call it Solon, or Soul. But of course, that is not the story we print in the brochure.
I don't know. You'd sell more brochures if you had that.
Well, times are changing. It's possible that it will be in there before too long. And just then, the doors are kicked in behind you, and Lieutenant Davis drags himself through, and you can see he's still sort of clutching his side where he got fire bolted earlier, and he's still dragging that aura of like white light around him. All of you make a perception check.
It should
Nat 20.
9.
No.
9.
13. No. 12. I can't. It's too late.
It's just slowly getting worse.
And I didn't see... Lexi, actually roll that with advantage.
Okay. Perception?
Yeah.
12.
Lexi, something makes you kind of like cock your head, but you can't quite place it as Lieutenant Davis sort of cavalry charges into the room. Auric, you just fully catch it on a nat 20. That light that he's sort of carrying, that spell, for just a second, as he sort of pushes through the doors, you see a faint flicker of that same strange, bright shadow that you saw behind Airtra, behind Davis. And the rest of you don't see this, but Airtra turns to Auric and just goes,
It's secret.
Can you look at distraction?
Quick, keep off your ring.
It is 9:57. We'll come back to the more of the aftermath. Is there anything else you all would immediately like to do right this moment?
Mass healing word.
As you start to sort of sing this spell, Airtra doesn't quite put a hand on your shoulder, but just sort of extends a hand near you, and you feel it's still your song, but there
Okay.
is a resonance. It's like the room resonates for you in a way that isn't physically possible, but you feel it just ring out. And everyone who you would like to be healed is healed up to a fairly good level of health.
Okay. Not the 6 limit.
Nope, everybody. It just echoes off the walls. You can actually see like vibrations moving through the air where the light falls across the room. All of the little like cuts and bruises on Torin from fighting are all washed away. Even he isn't like in fighting shape, but you do at least see the black-green oozing marks on Jabez's forehead sort of heal over. And everyone seems to be okay.
So numerically, Lexi and Cyrus at least heal at least 20. Okay.
At least.
At least.
Oh yeah. You're still angry, aren't you?
Yeah, I am still raging.
Huh? Well, numerically, I
There you are.
Okay.
shoot 6 people in range, and they would have gotten +6.
Okay.
And now,
I'm going to be honest, that fight only got about half as crazy as I expected it to. There were like 2 more stops on that fight that could have been pulled that I didn't get to.
Oh boy.
fun times.
Would have been a very long encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to do a big, complicated boss fight in 2-hour chunks.
Yeah. That's fair.
All right. Well, we'll put a pin in it here. And I know we're poking at schedules, so we'll keep an eye on that going into next week. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the stream. Thank you to any of the surviving bots.
I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, wait.